Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, guys, I'm learning new stuff every day. Things that I had no clue even really existed. I mean, it's crazy. And then also, there's so much going on right now that is like, I mean, it's like we're in a sci-fi movie. It's just incredible. Let's start over here. This is Storm Ali in North Wales, and just you wouldn't think if you're just calling it Storm that it packs such a punch, but this had 100 plus mile an hour winds. As we can see, I mean, those are intense winds. And so that's Storm Ali. What is up with this? I mean, we're going to see there's crazy weather going on everywhere. It's just amazing to see everything. We have a massive landslide that buries 24 homes in Cebu, leaving more than 60 dead and missing. This is in the Philippines. And it's a very large landslide that buried between 20 and 24 homes near a limestone quarry site on the fringes of Naga City of Cebu province. And I do have a video. You guys should check it out on the Nagas. It's an older video, maybe like 8 months ago or 9 months ago, and very interesting. I'm going to start doing a lot more of these one-topic videos again because they're just so fascinating. And Nagas, it's very interesting. Nagas are like serpent people. There's so much to go into there, but anyway. This landslide was caused by days of heavy monsoon rains and comes just after the passage of Super Typhoon Mangkhut, which was the most powerful storm of the year so far. And, that was just amazing, the power of the winds that we saw there. As we see people being rescued from the landslide, there's a video here. I'll have all the links for you guys, as always. We've seen a lot of these landslides, way too many. Storm Ali leaves 2 dead in its wake, as Storm Brona now threatens Ireland and UK. It's the 3rd storm expected, and that's going to be on Saturday. So just one day after Storm Ali left 2 people dead and more than 140,000 homes without power, the second named storm of the season, Brona, threatens southern Ireland and central and southern Britain with strong winds and equally rain as well today and tomorrow. Also potential for another storm to form late Saturday into Sunday. Intense low-pressure system which will develop across parts of Wales and southwest England during the evening before spreading further eastward across England has been named Storm Brona by the Met Office and the Met Iran on September 20th. And we're seeing unprecedented. There's really not a better word. And, you guys are welcome to give me suggestions for a better word than unprecedented to use to explain what we're seeing here. Wild, crazy storms that don't typically develop under these type of conditions, this time of year. And it's just wild what we're seeing, and there's just no let up. That's the thing too. It's just one after another, and there's so many unusual things going on. There's new thermal activity in the Upper Geyser Basin in Yellowstone, and so Yellowstone National Park reports over the last several days there has been new thermal activity in the Geyser Hill area of the Upper Geyser Basin. This includes new erupting vents, splashing water on the boardwalks, surface fractures, and a rare eruption of Ear Spring on Saturday, September 15th. The eruption ejected not only rocks, but also material that had fallen or been thrown into the geyser in years past, like coins, old cans, and human debris. The last known similar size eruption of this spring was 1957. So that's a while ago. There have been some smaller eruptions as recently as 2004. So Geyser Hill lies across the Firehole River from Old Faithful and features dozens of hot springs, geysers, and fumaroles. For the public safety, some boardwalks and trails in the Geyser Hill area have temporarily been closed. Closure signs are posted. The boardwalks around Old Faithful remain open. The outcome of the current changes on Geyser Hill and the Upper Geyser Basin is uncertain. Yellowstone officials say the two most likely possibilities are: 1, the area of thermally heated ground may expand and continue to cause changes in hydrothermal activity that persist for years. Much like the thermal activity of 2003 in the Norris Geyser Basin, this could necessitate rerouting of the current boardwalk configuration. Or 2, a small hydrothermal explosion could occur in the area, forming a crater a few feet across, ejecting rocks and hot water up to a distance of a few hundred feet, much like what occurred at Pork Chop Geyser in the Norris Geyser Basin in 1989. Yellowstone officials say changes in Yellowstone's hydrothermal features are common occurrences and do not reflect changes in the activity of Yellowstone volcano. There are no signs of impending volcanic activity in the park, so be reassured. Now again though, as we said, Yellowstone's the big one, and if that happens, we have a nuclear winter, and yeah, it's going to be tough. So let's pray, as always, that Yellowstone doesn't erupt. Now this is really bizarre, weird, and unexplained still. And this is a burning hole that nobody knows how it happened or how it formed. This is Midway, Arkansas. And they don't know what caused it. Was it a meteor? Was it a lightning strike? Whatever it was burning with flames shooting out of it off Highway 5 south in Midway. Fire Chief Don Tucker said a fire was burning roughly 2 feet in diameter, 8 feet tall, and it burned for approximately 40 minutes. The homeowner who lives nearby said he came outside Monday morning to flames shooting from the hole up to a man's nose on the billboard. Now county leaders are trying to figure out how it started. Baxter County Judge Mickey Pendergrass said, "We don't believe that the devil showed up, or that meteorites landed, or big booms happened. But the burning question is, what caused the hole and what caused the flames?" Pendergrass said, "We have contacted every utility company that's in the area, and we now know for a fact that none of them have lost any service, and they have nothing there. So it's nothing to do with utilities," which was our first inclination to believe something was there. Nobody knows where the hole ends. A few geologists said they don't believe it was caused by a meteorite or a lightning strike. And one with the Arkansas Geographical Survey said how it started is a mystery. Arkansas Geographical Survey professional geologist Ty Johnson said, "I can't think of any geological situation that would allow that to happen. Not in this area. There's not any fossil fuels or natural gas or petroleum that occurs in the area." But he wants to dig for some possible answers. Johnson said, "I imagine you would have to do some serious excavation to find out what the source of that is. We would be happy to go up there and look. I've already talked about going up there and looking at the area. There probably isn't a lot we can tell, but we can get the idea of the general surroundings." The homeowner said he mowed the lawn recently and did not notice any kind of hole there before the fire. Pendergrass said what ignited it and what fueled it, we still don't know, and it may remain forever a mystery. What do you guys make of that? And again, there's a video for you to check it out. I don't know. I mean, if it wasn't a meteorite, or if it wasn't some sort of plasma strike, and there's nothing that is flammable around there, you got me. And you know, I think you guys, I'm sure one of you guys out there is going to have the answer, or maybe several of you, because I know, I see you guys, you know, your collective knowledge is awesome, and that's what we need to do, is to band together and figure things out and figure out the most expedient ways of solving the situations that we find ourselves in with this rapidly changing climate, world, and the intense storms and all the weird anomalous events we're getting. So have you ever heard of a Medicaid? Nope, not Medicare, Medicaid, and not medical cane, a Medicaid. It's basically a hurricane-like cyclone that forms in the Mediterranean, and very rare. And you know what? Once expected to be fully formed east of Sardinia in the next 24 hours. Latest model guidance together with radar and satellite imagery is now in very good agreement on the developing tropical-like cyclone over the Tyrrhenian Sea. It's a Medicaid. Deep convection is ongoing around the center of the cyclone, and tightening pressure gradient is visible. It's expected to become better organized and more intense within the next 48 hours while it moves along the southeast coast of Sardinia towards Tunisia. Wow. So, I mean, we were looking at Storm Alley and then probably two more coming. And you know, Storm Alley, 100-mile-an-hour winds, that's not typical up that way. We saw that sign holder get blown around like a leaf in the wind. And now, you know, here we got a Medicaid, a Mediterranean cyclone developing right off of Sardinia. Hold on to your hats, everybody in the area. Hold on to your hats. This is really wild times that we have going on. And again, let's pray that we will not have as severe a storm as they think can happen here. Just amazing times, and we learn something new every day. I had never heard of a Medicaid before. And we have deadly flash flooding going on in Algeria again, as you can see. Just another day somewhere in the world that you just see cars being swept away in a brand new river down the street. And all of this is, as we've been talking about, it's punishing the crops. Western Australia crops punished by 2 devastating frosts in just a matter of days. Crops in Western Australia were punished with yet another severe frost overnight Wednesday, following a devastating hit on the weekend at a critical time in development. Prices for this coming January's ASX East wheat contract reached new season highs, $442 a ton, after devastating frost in Western Australia over the weekend. The previous high for January wheat contract was in 2011, when January 12th ASX East contract was at $364.50 a ton. That's a significant increase off the previous high. And we're going to see massive food shortages and massive price increases. And it's already settling in many, many parts of the world. John Chapman, a farmer in Bruce Rock, tweeted that 50% of his wheat crop is stuffed, adding that this was the biggest frost I've seen in my short 15-year history. Not good, not good. Most of his wheat is gone. Canola may be okay if it's in a hill. Not good circumstances. As we see the sickly and sad-looking potato plants in Washington's southwest. And it's just one thing after another, you know, as far as this goes. And here we have torrential rains and flooding impacting pumpkin crops. So again, you know, look to your local area first and foremost. You know, if you are in an area and you're blessed with an area that has a lot of farming going on, that's wonderful. If you're, say, somewhere on an island and everything has to be brought in, it's going to be much, much tougher. Or even if you're in a desert situation, or there's so many different variables that are going to be different for everybody, no matter, you know, where you're at. Pluses and minuses to every location. But definitely start getting some stuff going on your own. You know, take whatever measures you can do to have at least some sort of self-sustainability. And something that really we don't touch on in this one today. But you know, there's so much evidence to the grid. The grid could go down any time, and we're seeing some unusual signs. You guys are telling me about issues, computer issues, phone issues, power issues, things going down, coming back on. We're getting close. We're getting really, really close. So be ready. Be ready. It's really, we're at that time now where you have to have all your plans implemented. So torrential rains and flooding have caused pumpkins and other crops to be severely impacted this season. Galactic cosmic rays, cloud nucleation to blame. Charlie Todd, owner of Chamberlain Acres, forecasts the prices of pumpkins spiking this year due to a loss in the crops. Rain has caused pumpkins to either rot earlier or not grow as big. Too much water will suffocate the plant. Todd is noticing some of his smaller pumpkins are already starting to rot due to excessive moisture. And during a solar minimum like the grand solar minimum we're entering now, the sun's magnetic field weakens and the outward pressure of the solar wind decreases. This allows more cosmic rays from deep space to penetrate the Earth's atmosphere. And so this is what we have, and ultimately global cooling. Now, yeah, my question for you is, what is causing the sun to go through this cycle? Is there something else active there? And so if we take a peek now, 2018 is the black line, and we have seen some wild swings. And we have seen over here in July, you had basically pretty much record ice up in the Arctic. And then we had those heat waves and unusual heat anomalies. And it started to dip down. Now it's starting to rebound, it's starting to build up. It's basically right on par with 2015 and still behind 2014 and the running average of 2004 to 2013. But it didn't dip down as much as some of the other years past over here at peak, and it's starting to go back up, so we'll see where this goes. Thousands of spiders descend on Greek town and cover it with a 300-meter long web. 900-foot long spider web? Oh, and this is like sci-fi material. Anybody anarachophobic here? You don't want to take a trip to this Greek island. No. And as you can see from the pictures, it's pretty wild. Just the breathtaking scenery of a clear blue Mediterranean sea waters in Atoliko has been spoiled by massive spider webs, which have sprung up next to a lagoon on the shores of the town. Footage of the phenomenon shows endless layers of mesh covering the trees, the ground, and all the objects in the immediate vicinity of the beach. Guys, you know, you could check out this video if you're not anarachophobic. If you are, you know, proceed with caution, because it is creepy. It is creepy. And part of what we talked about is what is going on with this world. Is this a dimensional merge? What is going on? If you believe in ascension, the idea that we are basically climbing in vibration into a higher vibrational frequency. If you remember the movie The Mist, it was like there was this fog that rolled in, and really what it was sort of some sort of wormhole in effect, or some sort of dimensional merge going on. These creatures that existed on a totally different dimension that were absolutely bizarre basically came into our dimension. And so it almost feels like we're going into one of those type of sci-fi horror movies, doesn't it? With all that crazy changes going on. And so if we take a look over to a little bit more, unfortunately, normal stuff, we have a Reaper drone shot down by another drone in the first unmanned air-to-air kill, and we've talked about this. Now this is the dawn of unmanned air-to-air combat. Drone against drone, as we now are starting to witness like the technology of Terminator and of Avatar and of all these other movies, I guess we are back in that sci-fi mode, aren't we? It's all coming to fruition now, and we're actually seeing it. You know, are we going to see mechanized soldiers walking down the streets? You know, what's coming? It's really wild and crazy, and I think things are going to advance in such a rapid manner. I think we are going to see an exponential increase in the military technology that is shown to us. And of course, that military technology is going to trickle down into the PDs, the police departments, and into, you know, everything else as well. And it's just a wild time to live and see all these things. There's some videos for you guys to check out. And this gets even scarier. New mind-controlled jets means soldiers can control up to 3 warplanes with their brain using an implant. So I guess these soldiers are saying, okay, I'll take the implant. I wonder if they have a choice. You know, because you're given all these shots and you're never told what they are when they, you know, when you first join the service. It's just, you know, jab, jab, both arms. And you really don't know what they're hitting you up with. So, a stunning breakthrough in new war weapons has been announced, one which will see soldiers controlling military planes with their minds. And there's a video here where a man talks of his experience with mind control. The U.S. military's DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, those initials are scary, is launching a new generation of warplanes which are flown by a pilot sitting hundreds of miles away with an implant in their brain. Using sophisticated brain-computer interfaces, soldiers will be able to pilot up to 3 jets at once with just their thoughts. U.S. top scientists have been working on this since 2015. Back in 2016, a pilot hooked up to a neural implant was able to pilot an aircraft in a flight simulator while keeping 2 other planes in formation. So remember the Matrix. Is that what we're looking at? Are you going to just lean back in the chair and they're going to just plug something into the back of your brainstem? Would you do that if you were a soldier in order to not physically be on, you know, in harm's way, whether it's on the battlefield or over the battlefield? Signals from the brain can be used to command and control not just 1 aircraft, but up to 3 simultaneous types of aircraft. This is really wild stuff. And this uses electrodes which have been implanted in and on the brain's sensory and motor cortices. Because of this, so far the experiments have been restricted to pilots with at least some degree of paralysis. Wow. Amazing, amazing stuff. DARPA has recently launched a new next generation non-surgical neural technology, they call it N3 program, to make a cap which will sit on top of the pilot's head and won't involve brain implants. Amazing. Scary. Bye-bye bugs. And you guys have been telling me about this. I've gotten so many people saying, have you noticed? Where are all the bugs? Where have all the bugs gone? Scientists fear non-pest insects are declining. So a staple of summer, swarms of bugs, it seems to be a thing of the past, and that's got scientists worried, and that is not a good thing. That is not a good sign. Pesky mosquitoes, disease-carrying ticks, crop-munching aphids, and cockroaches, well, yeah, they're all doing just fine. But the more beneficial flying insects this summer, bees, moths, butterflies, ladybugs, lovebugs, mayflies, fireflies, there's less of them. Scientists think something is amiss, but they don't know exactly what. In the past, they didn't systematically count the populations of flying insects, so they can't make a proper comparison. Nevertheless, they're pretty sure across the globe there are fewer insects that are crucial to as much of 80% of what we eat. And again, this is going into the food shortages. Yes, some insects are pests, but they also pollinate plants, and they are a key link in the food chain. And they help to decompose life. You have a total ecosystem collapse if you lose your insects. How much worse can it get than that? The University of Delaware entomologist Doug Tallamy said, "If they disappear, the world will start to rot." He noted Harvard biologist E.O. Wilson once called bugs the little things that run the world. Not good, not good. And I could attest. I've just driven hundreds of miles in a truck, and yeah, I had to clean the windshield once. Usually it would be much more than that, especially way out in the woods. So it does seem like there's less bugs. It really does. Scientists discovered dozens of ice volcanoes on Ceres. You ever hear of cryovolcanoes? This is another one that was a brand new one for me. And so it does sound like something that would be in maybe the next Game of Thrones book. Ice volcanoes. New research suggests the dwarf planet Ceres, the largest celestial body in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, is home to dozens of volcanoes that spew water, ice, and gases known as cryomagma. Pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting. Ahuna Mons is a volcano that stretches 2.5 miles into the sky, and it's a cryovolcano on Ceres. So it's literally an ice volcano. So this is really interesting, and it gets you thinking again. There's water everywhere. There's got to be life everywhere out there, all sorts of life. To me, I view it as if the universe exists so that non-physical beings can have a physical 3D experience. That's basically how I look at it. That's my personal opinion. So my personal opinion is that this denser reality that we have is constructed from above in order to be basically an experience waiting to be had. It's as if basically you build a roller coaster, and you build the vehicle, and you build the tracks, and you do it so you could have that experience of what it feels like to ride on a roller coaster. And some scientists will tell you that matter generates 3D visible matter generates its own energetic fields. But I feel that really everything comes downwards from above, and that's just my philosophy, my point of view. So in medical qigong, and again, my background for you guys that are new is basically I'm basically an energy healer, and that's what I've done a lot of. I've practiced qigong for over 25 years, and that's basically been my main practice to get back from Lyme disease that I experienced, and also helped me to overcome rupturing 2 discs when I used to lift too heavy, and I was actually free squatting 500 pounds for my 12th rep, leaned a little too far forward, and gave myself L4 and L5 problems. And really, it was qigong and the ability to draw energy into the area that helped me to get better, because the physical therapist I was working with and the surgeon that wanted to basically go ahead and just fuse things, and they're telling you you're never going to work out, you're never going to jog, you're never going to do any of the things you like to do again. And I was roughly like 30 years old at that point, and I've done all those things, and even to the foolish point of doing lunges with 300 pounds again, which was not the smartest thing to do. But I've been able to do all those things, and really it was from my energy work. So in medical Qigong, we believe, and in many other traditions as well, basically the etheric layer of the body, there's so many different layers to the body, but the etheric field is the template from which the physical body is made. And the etheric is a blueprint. And just to give you guys a quick picture, actually let's go with DuckDuckGo. So you could do things in private and then post them for the world to see on your YouTube channel. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, guys? But actually, you're able to bring up the whole picture a lot better with DuckDuckGo. That's why I like it as well. So if we look at energy body layers, you can see there's layers to the body. The etheric body is the template from which the physical body is made. So the physical body is built according to the etheric template. And there's all different layers to the body. But basically what it shows is that there's guidance from above in creating this 3D reality that we see. It's not self-created. It's basically created from above, from higher dimensions. And that's what we're talking about. Higher dimensions manifest this realm so that beings in those higher dimensions, you and I, can experience a 3D reality. And so when we look at these things and we see that there's ice all over, there's water all over, and water is obviously something that's necessary for life that we know, and there could be other forms of life as well that perhaps do not need water to live, even in this 3D world that we find ourselves in, reality that we find ourselves in. So these type of discoveries are fascinating. But again, it points out to the fact that there must be, and there is, an abundance of life out there. Life is the norm. It's not the exception. Because all that there is consciousness. And all that's really, really real is consciousness ultimately. And so that's something for us to hold on to and to realize. So as we go through these tumultuous times, which are like being on a tremendously scary thrill ride, roller coaster, realize that ultimately you are consciousness. And this is a ride. And so, as best as we can, even when things are scary, and it looks like, hell has come to earth, or we're right inside the that great tribulation that the Bible speaks of, or this change from the dark age going into a new age, just like it's spoken of in the Vedas, or the return of Blue Kachina or Red Kachina from the Hopi prophecies, or Mother Shipton's dragon that we're going to see in the sky, the earth changes that Edgar Cayce talked about. We might be sitting on the precipice of what Washington saw at his vision in Valley Forge. There's so many things that are coming together right now in this one time, but ultimately, you are consciousness. And so recognize that, and as best as you can, prepare. Be prepared in every way, mentally, physically, spiritually, every single way, be prepared. And as best you can, enjoy the ride. And that is the trick. Enjoy the ride. And how do you enjoy the ride? Love each other. Love each other, support each other, and enjoy every moment with all those people that you love and cherish. Recognize just how precious every single moment is with them. Do not take for granted anything, anytime, anywhere. Don't go to bed angry with somebody. Make it right before you go to bed. In these times, you don't know if there's going to be a volcanic eruption, a landslide, a hurricane, a supercell forming over you, a tornado, an earthquake, You know, we don't know what's going to happen. So, whatever you do, cherish every single moment and let everybody know in your life just how much you love them and how important they are to you. So, my friends, as always, please thumbs up to support the channel. Please do subscribe, click the bell so you get all the notifications, and share with as many people as possible so we can wake them up to what's happening, but also give them hope as well as they prepare and we prepare, and we are ready to go on this ride together. My friends, may be blessed with abundant peace, love, happiness, and all good things. God bless and namaste.